out the window, he puts his best hat on, he flirts with them across the window. And then he says, right, you know, text message, no? Facebook or whatever. And he says, right, I'm going to invite them both to the cinema. He writes this lovely letter, but he gets Valerie, his girlfriend, to deliver it. And he uses Valerie to go over and says, we're all going to go happy families to the cinema. Takes them to the cinema. And then, we'll just picture, and then he picks Edith and marries her.
He what?
Picks her. Fast mover. This is her. She wasn't
too happy about that.
She wasn't too happy. It was Police Academy 4. He marries her.
His drawing looks a lot happier than she does.
Yeah.
This is her. We don't see much nudity here. This painting was originally in this dress. He tried to exhibit it, and the gallery said, dress is a bit colourful, can you paint over it? Which he did. He painted it in white. And the idea, for me, you see a painting, 10 slides ago, we saw a man showing women and himself with all sorts of sexual positions, and now he's covering over a dress so he can sell paintings in the gallery. I think there's another picture of her coming up. So we're nearing the end. This is the two sisters. He actually had an affair with his sister as well, so yeah, great guy. Now this leaves us with what I think is the tragedy of his life. We're coming towards the end of it now. What does he do with Valerie? This love of his life, but she's perhaps not the right class or the right, person that he can live this bourgeois existence with. So he invites her to a cafe. She comes in, and she arrives and says, cup of coffee, and pushes a piece of paper across the table. We only have her version of events. We don't know what he thought. He pushes a paper across the table, she opens it, it's a contract to spend 3 weeks a year with him in different parts of Europe.
Oh.
It's a
problem solver.
Yeah, exactly. Formal binding contract for being a mistress. She says, no, you've asked it. They never see each other again. She walks out, she joins the Red Cross and dies in the First World War as a nurse of scarlet fever in Serbia. The war starts now. He's married to Edith. He tries to paint, but can't really do it. He works in a prisoner of war camp. He's just some pictures of himself. He wasn't very productive during the war. He got into photography. He's very, very... The thing about Sheila, hands are really important for him. You see these, he's always doing this. And very rarely do you see a thumb in Sheila, actually. I don't know why, didn't work it out. But through the war, he gets given jobs so he doesn't have to fight. He works in store cupboards. He was sent to Prague, and Prague was too far, so he got transferred back to Vienna so he could stay with his wife, Edith. He was obsessed with himself. So here you've got double exposure in a picture, so in a photo, and on the other. Now, this is right towards the end of his life now. He's about 27. The First World War is beating Vienna and the whole region into, it's destroying it. They want a family. This is a picture of him with a baby inside. But you can see these are really dark, troubled pictures. None of the light backgrounds, but loads and loads of picture, loads of paint. In fact, here, before, they had some flowers, and then she got pregnant, and he took the flowers out and put the baby in. All he wanted at this stage was a balanced bourgeois life, while war was ripping the empire apart. Now, she was pregnant with the child, and she she caught Spanish influenza, which killed, obviously, lots of people throughout all of Europe, but particularly this part. It killed Sigmund Freud's daughter, for example. She caught Spanish influenza. She died 6 days before the end of the war with the baby. He was taking care of her and would not leave her, and he caught Spanish influenza from her and then died. And then 3 days later, the First World War ended. Now, as a writer, this is actually someone made this painting. They came and moved him afterwards to make it look as though he was kind of sleeping, but this is the last painting. And for me, it's depressing, but this, at the end, it's a natural drama. You just don't get that. No screenplay writer could kind of invent that. And that's climax to his life, plus what happened at the beginning with the syphilis and so forth, were the two things which really grabbed my attention, because sometimes you can't invent better stories than there are already in reality. So that's it. That's Sheila's life. I've researched it a lot, but not that much. So I had to make up lots of bits in between. I had to work out what the umbrellas were. But essentially, I want to tell his story because he's not one of the top 10 artists. He's not Picasso, Michelangelo, which people know about, Van Gogh. But I think he still deserves to be read and learned about. So, thank you very much for coming. Sorry about the PowerPoint. And if you want to in the books, there's some of them lying around. Just
read some excerpts?
Well, I can read the opening page.
Why don't you do that? So basically, yeah, but these books are, if you like to, purchase them and chat with those.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, sorry, questions as well.
Yeah, your questions as well.
Yeah, questions first.
Let me start. When about did he lose track? When did he lose his focus on pornography?
Well, so that's a good point. That's a good point. We should probably go back to the title. The title has two reasons. One, it's great for shelves. It's bought by lots of people who are looking for something else. Secondly, Oskar Kokoschka, who was a contemporary of his, was in London in 1964, so 50 years after Sheila died. And they said, so Oskar, you know, you, Sheila, Klimt, you were good buddies, you created this erotic art. What do you think of Sheila? And he said, ein bloßer Pornograph, nothing but a pornographer. And so he was given this title of pornographer 50 years later by a friend of his. And most people would say it's unfair. Yeah. What is pornography? There was a famous court case in America in the 50s where the judge said, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it. And there was even a court case in 1966 where Sheila's paintings were judged obscene. So, you know, 1966 in a court case in Rome. So, you know, people are still offended by this. He, I think, was trying to show people what real erotic, sensual bodies look like. Knowing that at that time there were lots of aristocratic men who would hide behind their titles and their palaces, and then they would visit prostitutes at night. And he wanted to be more honest. He started to lose it a little bit with prison. Prison was the big moment where he realised that his existence as it was couldn't be continued, and then he returned to Vienna, got rid of Valerie, and took Edith.
It has no connection with the reason why he left Vienna.
Sorry?
It has no connection with the reason why he left Vienna.
No one's quite sure why he left Vienna. There's an idea that he got someone pregnant and had to leave someone, the daughter of a publisher called Kosmak, but no one's quite sure. He didn't document his life. He did poems, but